Hey everybody, I recorded this video. This is just a little intro to the actual video. I initially recorded the video and it was 50 minutes long, so I decided to split it into two different videos so that it'd be easier to watch, especially if you don't have an hour to sit down and watch one video. This is kind of because up to that point it never really sink in, say the baby really gone, and up to that point, even though the baby was not alive, my body was still behaving pregnant, of course. Anyhow, took the meds how I was supposed to take them. Boyfriend helped me, he did the inserting, and I took the ones that night. I felt just a little tiny bit of pain, not too much, and don't think I passed anything. The next day we were out on the road. Actually, that's another drama. Something else happened with his son, and that was another addition. It was another blow to him. But anyhow, we were out and about that day getting some tests run for his son, and I went to the restroom and they went into the place, and once I got in there I went to pee, and TMI, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you expect TMI. If not, you can just click off of it now. Alright, so went to the restroom to pee, pulled my panties down, and I normally line the seats, so there was a blood clot in the pad. On the pad itself. It wasn't a huge blood clot, but as I stooped to sit, something fell, and at that moment the realization hit me that this is really happening, and I broke down in the bathroom. When I was in there, I was crying for a while. And where we were on a medical building, on a building that is primarily medical offices, so again, everybody over there know me. So I stayed in the restroom for a while and just cried it out. When I came back out, they were not in the sitting area, so I assumed that they had gone in around the back where they were gonna go and run the test. So I went back out into the do you call that an atrium? I don't know. I went out there in the open space, in the general space for the building, and I actually went way over to a corner where there was almost nobody, and I sat down, and the security came over to me and he said, "Oh, you passed so many places and come all the way over here, so come sit down." And then I guess at that point he realized that he looked at my eyes and realized that he said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Boy, I got through one little situation, you know." And he gave me a couple words of encouragement, and then he went back to his desk. I was sitting there for a while. This test was supposed to take around half an hour, so I was sitting out there for a while, and then the emotions came back and I had to go back into the restroom. I had to go back into the restroom, and I stayed in there and cried for a little bit. And once I felt that I was done with that again, I did go back outside, and then I sat at another side of the place. And I guess when he was almost done, because I believe you can't use your phone once you leave the lobby area, you can't use your phone around there because of the different machines and yada yada. He sent a message. He said, "Are you okay? We're almost done, or we're gonna come out soon," or something to that effect. When he came out, of course he could tell that I was crying, and I said, he kind of just sighed up on me, and I just told him that yeah, I did just break down in the bathroom and stuff. And that night also I broke down again. I took a shower and I went into little silent cry, and then it just wouldn't stop. And I grabbed the towel, and he was in the bed. I think he was sleeping already. I grabbed that towel and put it under my face, and then the crying just was not stopping. I was just crying and crying and crying until I got up and I laid down on his chest. And then that's when the crying turned into the hyperventilating garbage. And once it toned down enough, I kind of just laid back, put my head like under his arm, like here. And I remember the tears didn't stop, but the hyperventilating and the extraness stopped. And I remember I just laid there and I just kept saying in my mind, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Jesus, please let me go to sleep. Please let me fall asleep. Please let me fall asleep. I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. And the tears just kept rolling until I remember that my hair was wet. Anyhow, the next day, almost no bleeding. It's like, So at this point I reached out to the doc and I said, Doc, no, not much pain, just a little bit the first night and just a little bit of bleeding. Did have some clots, but it wasn't anything much. So she had, at the point when she had given me the prescription, she had scheduled me for an appointment at the end of that week. So she said, I had expected you to be in pain because the medication was supposed to open up your cervix so that what was in there could pass out. And remember that I was already bleeding inside, so the medication was kind of to speed up the process of the body getting rid of the baby, but it wasn't working. And then the bleeding just stopped, as I said. So she said, just let me know if it does happen. Keep your appointment on Saturday. So we went in on Saturday, and she examined me and she said, your cervix is completely closed. Whatever bleeding you were having, it was just trickling through and coming out, but my cervix was completely closed. So she said, we're gonna have to do the D&C, and I really want to just get it done today. So today, she says yes. She said she would do it at the hospital. She gave me two options: to do it privately or to do it at a hospital, the public hospital. So of course I opted for the public hospital because of the cost factor. So we said okay. She made a call to make sure that, she could in fact do it today, and she could give me a time so I could be better prepared. So she said around 3-4. So we just left and we went to the hospital. He went and got something to eat because it was probably around time to eat lunch, and then I couldn't eat anything because I was gonna do the surgery. So he got something to eat, and then we went up to the hospital. We still got there before her because she had 2 more patients, I believe, after me, so she had to finish with those patients. And apparently she had a surgery that she was supposed to do, so I had to wait on that as well. So I got to the hospital. Oh, she was like, oh, she's gonna keep me overnight. I was like, I thought it was just one of those surgeries that you just do and you go home the same day. But she said she wanted to monitor me, and I guess because it was in the evening, I guess she was considering that if she's gonna monitor me, then I'd probably leave late and I'd probably be sent out late. And I don't know if she was considering all of that and considering where we lived in relation to the location of the hospital. I don't know if she was considering all of that, but she said she wanted to keep me overnight. She said she would send me home first thing in the morning. So I was like, okay. Went to the hospital, was admitted. She came, she actually she was the one that put in my access and took the blood and everything, and I just pretty much sat down and wait. No, I was just sitting there blank. So this is, I hadn't cried since that night that I broke down. Once the porter came with the wheelchair to come and get me with that gown that you put on to go to surgery and the thing and the foot covers, and then it hit me again, and I was sitting there and I was like, and then of course the tears started again. And I remember the nurse was telling me, you're gonna be fine. I wasn't crying because I was worried about the surgery. She did tell me that I would be sedated, I wouldn't feel anything, but I'd probably be awake. I wasn't worried about that. It was just the realization that this is actually real. This is not a dream. It's not made up. There is no chance that we're gonna tomorrow say, oh, we found the baby's heartbeat. No, this is it. It's coming out. There's no baby after this evening. And I cried 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 all the way go down there. And while I was down there, I was crying. One of the ladies down there said, alright, Miss, and no. And she said she was gonna wash her hands and come back. But of course, I mean, as I said, I wasn't crying because I was scared of the surgery or anything. It was just the realization that really and truly there is no baby. We went down, went in. She gave me the sedative was, trying to remember the name, because I remember she kept telling me, like when she took up the syringe or whatever that is, and she was gonna put it in the access. I think I still have my scar. Can you see it? No. There. That's my scar. Yeah, there. Is that? Or is this? I don't even remember. I think it might be this. Yeah, this looks about right here. Anyhow, so she was telling me that she was telling me the name of it. It's Petty something. I don't remember. It starts with a P. So she said, you know, this is, and she said the name, and she said that it's gonna make you feel sleepy. And she started putting it in. Well, of course, they hooked up everything that they were hooking up to me. The oximeter thing on my finger, blood pressure monitor. Laid me out like a like my arms were outstretched on both sides, and my legs were up in the, were my legs up in the stirrups yet? No, I don't think my legs are up in the stirrups yet, because I did ask her. I said, how soon is this gonna work? Because I'm considerate about my, I'm conscious of my legs, because I think at that point I had my legs up on the bed. And she said, I don't remember what she said. Anyhow, she told me the name of the thing, and she said she's administering it, and I must tell her when I start getting sleepy. So I was there. I didn't start getting sleepy, but I could see the light. I was looking up at the light, and it was like, it seemed to be moving. So it was, so I said, can I close my eyes? Because I was concerned that I was gonna get dizzy from the appearance of the light moving. It wasn't moving, but that's the feeling that the drug gave me initially. And she laughed, and she said, already? And she said, Bethany, you don't drink, man. And I said, yes. And she said, what you drink? And I was listing out the things, and she said, yes. And you're going off already? And then I don't remember anything from that point. She later told me that I went out pretty quickly. I do remember, I was telling her afterwards, I do remember at one point she said, oh, I'm doing so well. And I remember having some discomfort. And she said, yes, when I was dilating you, you did say ouch. So I'm assuming it's at that point that I felt the discomfort. Anyhow, anyhow, we did all of that. She said it was successful. We came out. She had his number, so they communicated. He knew I was okay before I knew I was okay. I was wheeled. I remember when they were moving me from the operating bed, they did so throughout the process. I think they were talking to me, but I don't think I was able to respond. I don't remember a lot of things. I remember the discomfort. I remember her saying I'm doing well, and I remember that they took me up in the sheet or whatever, that the operating thing, that thick sheet. They lifted me in that and put me on the stretcher to wheel me into the recovery room, but I don't remember anything. I just remember them lifting me up to put me on the stretcher, and I remember that somebody said, we're gonna move you from the bed to the stretcher. And I remember being lifted in the sheet, and then I don't remember anything else. I remember waking up and there was a clock to my right ahead of me, and I did see the time at that point. I remember she was also talking to me while we were in the recovery room. She was doing some paperwork. I remember that bit as well. And then I guess I knocked out again, and he had gone home and come back with stuff for me, you know, so I could stay overnight. Towel, pillow, soap, dinner, whatever. So he was actually outside waiting. So once I got up and I got my phone and I told him that I was up, and he told me that yes, he already spoke with her, and she told him that she got everything out. And I remember when the nurses checked me when I just got up, they did say the bleeding was minimal. So I think that's one of the things that they wanted to monitor me with, was to see how much I was bleeding after the procedure. Now I thought I would be bleeding a lot after the procedure, because everything that I read or watched, people say they bled a lot, but I didn't. I remember I went and took a shower after 10 that night, and I did the surgery. I want to say 4:30, 5 o'clock ish. And I took a shower after 10, and then from that point, from the shower when I changed onto in the morning when I was checked again, it was very minimal. So she came in, she checked. She did give me a time estimate about when she was gonna come in, so because I wanted that to make sure that it was outside when she came, so I wouldn't have to wait. And I also didn't want him to come and have to wait on me either, because he was gonna have the kids with him, and I knew that that wouldn't be fun for them, and they'd probably start asking all kinds of questions. As I said, we didn't tell anybody. We were waiting on 12 weeks to tell everybody, so we just kind of told them that I had a little procedure that I was supposed to do. I knew that I might have had to do it. I just didn't know that I was gonna do it that day. Went to the doctor. The doctor said, come do it this evening, and that's what we told our family members. So the next morning, as I said, I was fine. I actually, when I came from the operating theater, he came up, gave me the stuff, stayed for probably 30 seconds, and then because I was still out of it, and he left, and I think I fell asleep after that again. Once I woke up, I asked one of the nurses if I could get up, and she said if I felt like I could get up, I could get up. So I got up. I got up, and you know, like, I was making sure that my legs are okay to stand up, because I felt okay, but you know, you never know. So I got up and I was like, okay, yes. And I sat up and I had my dinner, and then I was having some water, and one of the nurses, she's a Spanish nurse, she said, hello, you're NPO. And I smiled and I said no. And then I guess she read my thing and she realized that I had gone down, and she said, oh, you look so bright and fresh. It's like usually when you guys come up, everybody is always logy and sleepy. She didn't use the word logy, but that's what she meant. But she said I was looking vibrant, and I said, yeah, well, I came up a while you weren't here. She was nice. She doesn't speak a lot of English, but I could understand her enough. So that was my little experience, and it's weird. It's like I said, I have 2 kids and I never had any kind of complication with them like that. I've never had any miscarriages that I know of before. I have people close to me that have had miscarriages, and I know that there's a possibility, and I was kind of prepared for it, but not. You're never prepared for it, even though you know that there's a possibility of it to happen, right? So it still is a little bit weird, but I had a miscarriage, and it is, I don't know, it's not something that I can explain, especially as that I haven't had any before, and I have 2 kids that are healthy and vibrant, and 2 big babies. My kids were big. The first one was 8 pounds 15 ounces, the second one was 8 pounds 4 ounces, and they're 2 years apart, a little less than 2 exact years apart. So you know that when I was pregnant with the second one, I had a toddler that I was potty training. It was typically still a baby, you know. It was an early toddler. Can you say early toddler? I don't even know, but he was still young. So, and I did fine, and then this just happened. Anyhow, the next day she told me they were gonna send the baby for testing. I didn't know that they did this in Jamaica. I had read and heard about it. Didn't know that they did this in Jamaica. They do. So she says I will get a report indicating if there was any abnormal development of anything with the baby. She of course did assure me that not to worry about it. It's not anything that I did. It's sometimes these things just happen, and it may come back that the baby didn't have any developmental issues. But she said I should see her in a month, and then we can talk about when I can try again and all that stuff. So she did give me the option to pay to get the results of the test faster, but we didn't do that, and it wasn't a lot of money either, and I was surprised. We didn't pay to get it faster. I decided we'd just wait, because knowing wasn't going to change anything. And like I said, I have 2 kids. He has 2 as well, so I'm assuming that we're both baby making capable people, and for whatever reason this one just wasn't supposed to make it into the world. And I have to just take comfort in that fact that God knows that whatever it is, I could manage, him could manage, the baby wouldn't be able to manage. And this is what I tell myself, to find some sort of comfort in the fact that it happened. Anyhow, if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. Thank you so much for sitting down, for listening to my story. And if you have gone through a miscarriage, or you're going through a miscarriage right now, the feelings, the emotions are crazy, especially since there's still pregnancy hormones running through your body. And just know that those pregnancy hormones are gonna be in your body for a while, because I have taken 1 test since the D&C, and my body still thinks I'm pregnant. The hormones are still there, so I still have cravings. My boobs have deflated, but I still have cravings, and I do occasionally have a bit of nausea. So there's that, and it's a roller coaster, but life goes on. Everything happens for a reason, even though you can't see it. And it's nothing that you did. Just take comfort in the fact that nothing that you did, you didn't do anything, you didn't do anything wrong. Well, it's sad, it's heartrending, it's hard, but I have to take comfort in the fact that it happened for a reason, and the pain that I'm enduring for this situation, for the miscarriage now, is and would have been way less than the pain that I would have to endure for something to happen later down the road, for either me or the baby, or for the dad, or for all of our family members involved in the situation. So hang in there. If you're suffering, hang in there. If you need people, if you're that type of person and you need people, get them. Talk to your people. If you're like me and you prefer to just deal with it on your own, and then like now I'm ready to talk, I know that a couple times in this video I have felt a little shaky, felt like I would tear up, but the tears didn't come. And actually I told two of my male friends one day, the first one when I was telling him in the morning, I did get teary-eyed, and in the evening, the next one that I told, I didn't get teary-eyed, and I kind of said to myself, okay, it's time for me to talk. Now I can talk about it. Now I can let it out. So do what you have to do. Do not sink into depression. There was a day when I was just over everything, and he said, listen, you cannot stay in the bed. He said, you can go to the beach, you can take the kids if you want to, you can go by yourself if you want to. You cannot stay in the bed. Come out of the bed. Go on the road. Go and do something. And if he hadn't said that, I probably would have stayed in the bed and just gotten more and more depressed. But I did get up that day, and I did go out, and I did feel better. I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't go to the beach. I don't remember what I did, but I did get out of the bed, and I did come out of the house that day. And then because I was on, she did give me a sick certificate for the whole week after the procedure. That kind of adds, because it gives you time to mope and just get sadder and more depressed. And if you have to be home alone, that even makes it worse. Even for me, who is a loner, being alone makes it, do what you must do what you have to do what's right for you. Tell somebody if you need to tell somebody. If you're strong enough to do it by yourself, do it by yourself, but don't isolate yourself too much. So that's my 2 cents. And if you want to ask me anything, feel free to ask me below. If you need support, virtual support from a stranger across the globe, you can let me know below as well. Just don't give in to the feelings of woe is me. Don't give in to the feeling of, oh my God, why me? Don't say those things. Don't ask yourself those things. Focus on the positive. Focus on the positive. That's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. Keep telling myself that it was the best thing for me. It was the best thing for the baby. It was the best thing for him. It was just the best thing. I'd rather this than to have brought a child into the world that was gonna be hard to take care of, that was gonna put a strain on everybody, and a child that would grow up in a world and wonder why they were made like this. I have to look on the bright side, and I would urge you to look on the bright side as well. And at the same time, accepting the fact that sometimes these things just happen for no reason, but there is still good. Have life, we can try again. And I know for a lot that's a touchy topic, because there are people that have experienced multiple miscarriages, and after a while you're over it. Like that one day when I was just over it, I was just tired, and I just wanted the feelings to go away, and I wanted the sadness to go away, but I had to do something about it. I couldn't just lay down and say, I'm tired, I want the feelings to go away, and not do anything about it and just lay down and cry. I had to get up and do something about it. Please, 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 if you're in that situation right now, please find your people. If you can't talk to your people, or you would rather not talk to your people like me, there is this website called BetterHelp. Well, it used to be called BetterHelp. I'm not sure. I'll check, and if it's not, I'll put it in the description box. I've used it before for other trying times in my life. You can go on there and talk to a therapist, or you can go on Twitter. There's always Twitter is my sad place. I go on Twitter and I find somebody who's as sad as me but still trying to be positive, and I go and I read their tweets, and I find more people like that, and it kind of helps to know that I'm not the only person in the world that's like this, that's feeling like this, that has this type of experience, that's having this right now, that's having these mixed emotions. So there's things to do. If you are not into people and you don't want to be into people directly in your face, in your space, do it virtually. Just don't sit down and mope and kill yourself inside. Don't do it. It's already done. You don't have to die inside. Alright, don't chat now. Thanks. Yep. Alright guys, I have some good news, so that's coming in the next video. And for all the people that are saying that 2020 just bad and all kind of bad things happen in 2020, bad things happen every year. We don't have pandemics every year, but there's diseases and conditions that are killing off people as much and more than COVID-19 every year. I'm not gonna be blaming the year, and I'm not gonna be blaming COVID-19 for the loss of my baby. It doesn't have to do with either of those things. It happened, and now I am alive, and I have to move on from my 2 kids, for my 2 step kids, for my family, for the people around me that depend on me. I have to move on. I can't sit and sulk for the rest of my life or until I'm again pregnant, because a pregnancy does not fulfill me. I am fulfilled because I have life and I have strength, and I can go out, I can work, I can visit my friends, I can go to the beach, I can go to the supermarket, and I can find money to buy food. There's so many things. A miscarriage doesn't define you, and a pregnancy does not define you, and it does not complete you or make you incomplete. And I know that is hard. It's hard because you feel incomplete, because this life was growing inside you and now it's not, but it's okay. And even if it's not okay right now, you're gonna be okay.